Parks and Recreation, and I thank you for joining us here this evening to observe Black History Month for the City of Pittsburgh. I would like to thank our sponsors, BNY Mellon and Whammo 100, as well as our partners, Tunzumi, for the support of this exhibit. I would like to thank Roger Humphreys and the Roger Humphreys Trio for the wonderful music. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. At this time, I would like to tell you a little bit about our Master of Ceremony from Whammo 100, Miss Charmaine Chanel. Miss Chanel is a radio and TV personality. She got her start in broadcasting while attending college at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Upon completion of her undergraduate degree in Bachelor of Communications Media, she was accepted into the International Radio and Television Society Fellowship Program in New York City. After gaining experience in the Big Apple, she moved on to pursue radio in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Charmaine was the weekend warrior and the daytime diva at Whammo 106.7 FM. Currently, she hosts a televised music video countdown show, The Pulse. Charmaine is still blazing hip-hop and hottest hits on Whammo 100.1 FM from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. Monday through Friday. Let's all give her a nice round of applause as she comes to the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luann, and welcome, everybody. I am honored to be here to open up the Black History Month exhibit for the City of Pittsburgh. As soon as I get my microphone right, we'll be good to go. So, in selecting the theme for this year's exhibit, City Parks was able to shine a spotlight on an art form that is unique in character, rich in history, and is the fabric of today's society. This year's theme, Beyond the Funny Pages, the works of art and life captured in comics, highlights the overwhelming contributions of these three artists. Orrin C. Evans, publisher of the All-Negro Comics, he produced the first African-American comic book with all African-American cartoonists. Zelda Marvin Jackie Orms, the first African-American woman cartoonist. Clarence Matthew Baker, an influential and unsung cartoonist from the Homewood neighborhoods who crossed racial barriers and thrived during an era where comics and culture held strong prejudice against African-American artists. These three artists captured the pulse of American society with illustrations and powerful statements in an era when free speech was not a given. What you said or illustrated could have a profound effect on your life and the lives of those who viewed your art. This art form could get you harassed or even killed in certain parts of the United States. In the telling of a story through illustrations, these trailblazing artists were able to create a path that we can now walk down today. At this time, I'd like to now introduce my boss, Gary Gunter, General Manager of Whammo 100.1, to say a few words.
Hello and good evening to everyone. And on behalf of Whammo 100, I'd like to welcome everyone to this great exhibit that City Parks has allowed us to partner with them on. We are so excited to be able to reach out to the community and be a positive force to bring in the love and the Pittsburghers to come in and support all of the great exhibit articles that you have here in the lobby. Thanks so much to Mayor Peduto, the Departments of Parks and Recreation, and also to some of our sponsors, which include the Pittsburgh AIDS Task Force, Metro PCS, the NEED organization. So feel free to go by the tables and check on them and support and see all the different great things that they have going on. So again, thank you so much, and we look forward to you enjoying the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Gunter. It's kind of weird to call you Mr. We're on a first-name basis at WEMA 100. So now to open up the exhibit and to say a few words on behalf of the city, I would like to introduce Mayor William Peduto.
Thank you, Charmin and Gary. Great to have WAMO in the house. To City Parks, thank you for putting this together. And I didn't see my good buddy Joe Wass, who's somewhere here. I know that you were behind this somehow, Joe. There you are. Thank you for probably having one of the more creative ideas of how we could start the celebration of Black History Month. You know, there's going to be a special focus this year on civil rights. And a lot of people might not see a connection between civil rights and comic books. But in fact, even if you go back, the Courier used to have 8 pages of comics. And comics were a way to tell a story, to tell about what was happening in this country, and to raise the issues of civil rights in a way that seemed less threatening. But at the same time, it moved the needle. It moved the mark, and it helped us to progress and move on. The artists that are being recognized here have roots in Western Pennsylvania, have roots in Pittsburgh, have roots that have established not only their careers as artists, but their careers as pioneers, the first African-American cartoon artists to create these types of cartoons. And you know, what's special about this whole display and why City Parks deserves a special recognition, so many of the originals were never saved. So many of the originals were lost to history. And today, through the work of our city employees, we've not only been able to bring them back, but to showcase them on the walls of our city-county building. So when you look at it, look beyond the comic book, because there's much more to say and there's much more of a story to be told. I want to recognize from City Councilman Dan Gilman, going back a few years, aren't I, Val? Dan Gilman, who is here. I also want to recognize from my office Valerie McDonald-Roberts, Guy Costa, and Dr. Curtis Porter. And I certainly want to recognize all the city employees that are here as well. We take great pride in this building that we work in. We take great pride in putting together events like this. It's nice to share an evening with you. So thank you. Charmin, thank you, and I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Peduto. Finally, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, Mr. Joe Wose. Joe Wose is the Executive Director of the Toonseum, located at 94-5 Liberty Avenue downtown in the Cultural District. The mission statement of Toonseum is to celebrate art of cartooning. Their goal is to promote a deeper appreciation of the cartoonists and their work through hands-on workshops, community outreach, cartoon-oriented educational programming, and exhibitions of original cartoon art. Mr. Wose?
Thank you for having me follow the mayor. That's always nice. Never follow children, dogs, or newly elected mayors. So it is a great honor to be here. Thank you very much. Mayor Peduto, I know, is a big fan of comic and cartoon arts. He actually cut the ribbon on our Lou Scheimer gallery, our new gallery at the Toonseum, and we have a picture of you somewhere with She-Ra that we're saving for when we need a favor. So it is a great honor to be a part of this celebration, and that's what this is, a long overdue celebration. Pittsburgh has a remarkable legacy that most people aren't aware of. The first African-American woman cartoonist in history was from Pittsburgh. The first African-American comic book artist to break into the mainstream was from Pittsburgh. That's remarkable. That alone by itself would preserve our place in history as being a place where comic and cartoon artists can thrive regardless of race and gender. But there's more. At one time, Pittsburgh was the largest syndicate of African-American cartoonists in the world. The Courier had the incredible foresight to send Ollie Harrington into the depths of World War II to cover it not just as a reporter, but as a cartoonist. They recognize the powerful impact imagery can have, the powerful impact of words and pictures combined. It's unbelievable. It's such a great part of Pittsburgh's heritage. And that legacy continues with all the wonderful cartoonists who are coming up now. People like Marcel Walker, who was a wonderful comic artist from Pittsburgh. And more importantly, when I think of Matt Baker, he talked about how important it was for him to have art classes at his school here in Pittsburgh. And I think of the young people who are coming up right now, ones who are discovering the comic and cartoon arts and discovering their own voices. And I think how wonderful it is in Pittsburgh that we do still have programs and coming up with new programs, not just in the schools, but through city parks and Arts Card, where we're reaching out to kids in all these communities and allowing them to have a voice that they can express through their art. I think it's so important that we continue that. And I think it's so important that we recognize the cartoonists who have come before and the cartoonists who are yet to come. And I hope we continue to give them all a voice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wose. I want to thank everybody that is here and everybody that has participated in this evening's festivities. Special thanks to Mayor William Peduto and Acting Director of Parks and Recreation, Luann Horan. I would like to give a special thanks to the City Park staff members for their behind-the-scenes work. Brian Cates, Jay Tyler, Jim Klein, Elizabeth Cubison, Chris Basher, Dodie Byrne, Nancy Burns, Mary Beth Bueller. Thank you again to our sponsors and our supporters for making this Black History Month exhibit possible. BNY Mellon, Toonseum, and Mr. Joe Wose, and of course, WAMA 100.1. We would like to close out tonight just the way that we started, with Roger Humphreys and the Roger Humphreys Trio. In case you are not familiar with Roger Humphreys, he began playing the drums professionally at the age of 14. He led his own group at the Carnegie Music Hall when he was just 16. And on February 23rd, 2008, the state of Pennsylvania and the city of Pittsburgh issued a proclamation as Roger Humphreys Day. He was given a certificate of recognition for his legendary performance in the field of music and teaching. So once again, I'd like to thank you guys all for coming out, and please stay and enjoy the music of Roger Humphreys and the Roger Humphreys Trio. I'm Charmin Chanel, and there he is. Thank you very much. So make sure you come back throughout the whole month of February so you can enjoy the exhibit for Black History Month.